Hey, how's it going, runner? Coach Kyle here, and today you're going to learn about some recent research to come out. The topics include those pesky arch cramps that you might get in the middle of the night, caffeine's effect on performance, and maybe if you're a habitual coffee drinker, if you need to taper that down, and a supplement that could potentially help reduce muscle damage from really tough events, but doesn't impair the muscle recovery and adaptation from those big events or workouts. So let's dive in. If you don't know, I'm Coach Kyle and I work with runners all over the world to optimize their run training, their diet, their strength work, making it all come together with good accountability and motivation. If that's of interest to you, check out my website below. But let's dive into that research. Have you ever done an event with back-to-back events like the Goofy Challenge or something like that, where you do maybe a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, and a marathon all within 4 days of each other? Well, there's a supplement out there called Curcumin that might be really beneficial when it comes to decreasing the damage those events do to you and potentially helping you recover from that first event for the second, for the third, and for the fourth. So curcumin is a really bright yellow, kind of orange-ish chemical compound, and it's what gives turmeric that really deep, almost like dark orange, dark yellow color. It's a member of the ginger family, and it's a really popular like curry type seasoning. But it's also making its rounds, it's becoming more prominent as a supplement. And this is because it's probably really good at managing inflammation. So curcumin and turmeric are excellent supplements. As far as herbal supplements go, they're probably more on the highly researched side. And the nice thing is that's for a good reason. It's because they're probably pretty beneficial for a vast, constellation of health problems, such as, like habitual inflammation, or chronic inflammation, or Alzheimer's, or cancer, just a whole huge number of potential health problems. Curcumin, turmeric, it's not out of the question that it could be a beneficial supplement. So here we have a study from April of 2020 where we had 19 men aged 18 to 39. Half of them were given three servings of curcumin daily, 3 times 500 milligrams daily, or a placebo. And these participants, they really had it coming. They were to do daily 225 single leg sit to stand. So maybe like a half squat, if you wanted to picture that. 225 of them spread out, not all at once, but they did this exercise to induce muscle damage, and I bet that did the trick. So the researchers over the 29-day trial, they did surveys on how's the delayed onset muscle soreness for these participants, blood oxidative levels, probably creatine kinase, and they compared the placebo group to the group that got 1,500 milligrams of curcumin daily. What were the differences? And the really cool news was that the curcumin group had lower muscle damage markers, that creatine kinase, in their blood, and they had lower levels of perceived muscle soreness from this exercise versus the group that got the placebo. Interestingly enough though, this supplement didn't decrease the necessary inflammatory process from that muscle damage inducing exercise or the oxidative stress. So the participants, they had less damage, less soreness, but the idea here is that they're still getting that inflammation response to supercompensate, to adapt and get stronger from the exercise. And one of the maybe concerns with chronic or habitual ice bathing could be that the ice bathing limits that inflammatory response. So yes, ice bathing probably does limit soreness after a big event, but it might limit the amount of benefit you get from that event at the same time. So down in the show notes, you can find a link to this full study, plus a link to the curcumin that I take. I do take a curcumin supplement daily. And next up, have you ever had those pesky like evening or night arch muscle cramps or calf muscle cramps while you're laying in bed? Here we have a literature review looking at magnesium and maybe if magnesium can help prevent those. Now on Twitter or especially Reddit in the Q&As, I do see this problem mentioned once in a while, and so often the case somebody recommends a magnesium supplement. So this literature review looked at 5 studies, and this kind of cramp is called an idiopathic nocturnal cramp. There's no clear reason why it's happening, and it's happening at night. So to keep the results brief for you, magnesium didn't seem to help. The magnesium supplementation in these 5 studies didn't seem to help attenuate these nocturnal, no reason arch cramps. So there you go. We're not talking about like exercise-induced cramps, just these almost random arch cramps. Maybe you've been swimming and you push off the wall and your arch cramps. Magnesium supplementation in this literature review didn't seem to help with that at all. Finally, we're looking at caffeine. So have you ever thought about maybe cutting down your habitual coffee intake before a big race to get a little better caffeine boost for that event? So this study had 24 resistance-trained men participate in this study, and they were all habitual coffee drinkers. This was a randomized, double-blind crossover study, and the participants were given 3 milligrams per kilogram of caffeine per body weight for this study. And they were tested with strength, power, and endurance. At 150 pounds, I would have been given about 200 milligrams of caffeine for this study. So just for reference, a shot of espresso is 65 milligrams of caffeine, and a full cup of coffee is about 100 milligrams of caffeine. And for this study, they categorized people that drank less than typically 165 milligrams into the low caffeine intakers, and above that into the high. So if somebody drank 1 cup of coffee daily, they'd be a low caffeine intake. If they drank 2 cups, that would put them into the moderate to high. And currently I'm higher than Elon Musk on the Joe Rogan podcast with my caffeine intake. This is 20 milligrams. I drink at least, no, this is not 20, it's 20 ounces. And I typically drink at least 1 of these daily, maybe 2. So I'm definitely on that high end for caffeine intake. So what the researchers found was that acute ingestion of this caffeine, for me it would have been 200 milligrams, increased performance across the board for all the participants. So that includes the people that were low habitual coffee drinkers, or moderate or high caffeine drinkers. They all benefited from that quick shot of caffeine before their time trials or their strength tests. So even if you're a habitual coffee drinker, like I'm betting you are, taking a caffeine pill or drinking that coffee before an event, even if you didn't taper it off the week prior, it's probably going to be beneficial. So I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm, helps my channel, and it helps other runners find this video to improve their knowledge, improve their running. If you want to see more quick rundowns of recent research, then hit that subscribe button. I do these every month, and straight away after this video here wraps up, you'll see a couple more recommendations for past research topics that I've talked about, so be sure to check those out. Thanks for watching. You keep running, I'll keep coaching.